Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you live from beautiful Central Europe here in Budapest. I hope everybody has had a great week so far. Hi Rahul. This is an IELTS writing section task 2 essay class. Continuing from yesterday, it is a members chat class. It's one of the perks, advantages of being a member. You get 3 of these focused classes where you get more attention from me. As well, these classes are requested by members, and this one was requested by Rahul. Now, I believe we have a couple of Rahuls. Yep, I'm right. We have 2 already in the chat. So I know this request came from Rahul. Hi, Hung. Good to see you in class. Our materials, students, our strategies are developed by experts, educational psychologists and professionals. And you can get all of our materials from our websites, aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general. You will find 6 full practice exams, a fully interactive course, and over 100 hours of video lessons. The websites look like this. This is the academic, and this is the general here with the green background. Hi, Ferdovs. Welcome to the class. If you have questions, students, members, send them to me, Adrian, A-D-R-I-A-N, at aehelp.com. I will get back to you in 24 hours or less. So today we will finish this task 2. Then we will have a listening section after, which will be sections 3 and 4, continuing with the exam from last week. So that's something to look forward to. Hi, Gurkrat. In class on time. Good to see it. So here's our writing task 2. Should still be fresh in our minds. You should spend 40 minutes on the task. Economic growth and development are usually considered to be beneficial both for individuals and for society as a whole. Do the advantages of economic development outweigh the disadvantages? Yesterday we paraphrased this question. We thought deeply, critically about the topic of economic growth and development. We thought about the what, the why, and the how. So what is it? Why is it thought to be positive? Why is it thought to be negative? Let's look at that. So the controlling idea for this question is, are the benefits of economic growth more valuable than deficits? Right? That was the controlling idea. And then we realized, well, the benefits are more choices for products. People have more buying power. Society builds more and provides more services. And then we thought about the negatives. The negatives are greater demand on Earth's finite resources, pollution, unnecessary consumption, waste, greed, obesity, health issues. So those are the negatives. By the way, members, I posted the task 1 about the brain, the motor cortex. I posted the complete Band 9 essay earlier today on the channel. And I also posted task 2 from last week as well about video gaming and the advantages. So check that out on the YouTube channel message board. Okay, you'll see it there, those full essays. All right, so back to this one. So we thought about it, and we realized something very important before deciding the thesis. What was that? If you go, Hung, on the YouTube channel and you look for comments, messages, I think, on the channel, you'll find it. It's not videos, but there should be another heading, like comments or message board or something like that. I'll try to look for it, okay, and then I'll let you know specifically, but you should find the link on the channel. All right, so what did we do before we decided the thesis? I really want to refresh this in your learning. Yuru, welcome to the class. So this was one of the main kind of points or tips that I gave you in yesterday's class, members. Hi, Ava. So when you decide the thesis, when you decide which thesis to... thanks for sharing that, Rahul. So when you decide the thesis, what do you need to decide? Not paraphrasing Gurkrat, we're a little bit further on. Again, thanks for sharing that, Rahul. I appreciate that help. Okay, so remember, we talked about the benefits of economic growth and development, the negatives. We thought about a very important point, and then we decided on the thesis. What did we think about, or what did we pay attention to before deciding our thesis statement? Not the background, Gurkrat. Not the background. Something else. Yeah, Yuru, thank you. There we go. Yuru says, we thought about which side can be better explained in a 250-word essay to get a high band score for the IELTS, not necessarily your honest opinion. In some situations, students, your honest opinion is more difficult to write about than just taking what's called the devil's advocate. It's the opposite argument to what you actually believe. That's the expression in English. I believe it exists in many other languages as well. So just a quick refresher on that, okay? So tip. At times, it is better to play the what's called devil's advocate. It's an expression which means to argue the opposite of what you actually believe. Okay? So we compared the two possible thesis statements that economic progress is better or worse, and we thought, well, it's probably easier to just say that the advantages do not outweigh the disadvantages, especially in the long run. And then we came up with this introduction. Okay, then we came up with this introduction. So let's review the introduction, and then we'll go for the body paragraph. So here's the hook. Economic development is rapidly changing the face of the planet. Most countries around the world have experienced an economic boom over the past 3 decades, bringing about more products and services as well as greater consumption. This phenomenon is changing the planet for better and worse. Although economic progress brings more choices for products and increases buying power, I believe the deficits of this growth outweigh the benefits, since it has detrimental impact on Earth's environment and people's health. Okay, so what should my body paragraph 1 be about? Okay, here's a good question. What should my body paragraph 1 be about? Think clever here. What should be included in your body paragraph 1? What do you think? Based on this thesis, okay, so based on this thesis statement, body 1 should include what information? Rahul says, explain the benefits of economic development first. Rahul Kamodia. I'm just going to say Rahul K and Rahul S to make it simple, Rahuls, for future. Rahul says, talk about the environment. Ferdov says, advantages of economic growth. Now, I really want to push you for a band 9. Think outside the box here, so think critical. Okay. Euromang says, some advantages, but mostly the impact on the environment. When you have 2 points, so have a close look at this thesis. Economic progress brings choices. Let me switch a marker here. Choices for products. Okay. And then we have increased buying power, so people can consume more. Okay. So let's call this A, and let's call this B here. Okay. Now, the second half of my thesis is I believe the deficits, and this, students, is the reason why writing a good thesis for task 2 is the first step to getting a high band score over 7. Saying this essay will talk about the benefits and the negatives is not enough. Watch what you can do with this much more specific thesis. So I believe that the deficits of this growth outweigh the benefits since it has detrimental impact on the Earth's environment and people's health. Okay? What can I do with that? I'm trying to give you some clues or some hints about how to cleverly construct this essay to make it much more powerful for the reader in your argument. So Gurkhardt says about the choices for body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2 about buying power. Yeah, and let's take that one step further, Gurkhardt. So we can actually take this A here and take this A here and combine it into one body paragraph as a positive and a negative. Okay? So when we have a lot of choices for products, it's because we have a lot of increase in production. When we increase production, we damage the Earth's environment. Okay? We can take this B here and combine it with this one here. So when we increase buying power and people consume more and more, of course, that also means we eat more and more, okay? Which is very true. So people's health decreases because we overconsume. We have so much buying power that instead of eating 3 normal meals a day, we eat 3 large pizzas, 5 chocolate bars, and drink 2 liters of Coca-Cola. Okay? So we can actually do positive and negative in paragraph 1 about more choices and damaging Earth. And we can do positive, negative together in body paragraph 2. Do you notice? Do you see what I'm trying to show you? Are you following me? I want to make sure I didn't lose you there. Okay? And Gurkhardt, you're already giving some information, but don't jump ahead. So don't confuse yourself here. Okay? All right, so let's do that. So let's combine choices of products, so more products. Let's combine that with Earth's environment for body paragraph 1, and for body paragraph 2, we'll combine buying power and people's health. Okay? So body paragraph 1, we'll do positive and negative together. Again, students, remember, great essays, it's not just about English. It's about the way you adapt your thinking. Okay? Yuru, it's a good question. So Yuru says, what if the thesis doesn't have such a connection? Then you do it differently. And we've had different classes, different task 2 questions where we showed a thesis statement that doesn't have that kind of connection. So you separate your body paragraphs differently, Yuru, according to the way your thesis makes sense. Okay? In this case, it makes sense to do it this way. So always structure your essay, Yuru, according to the logic of your thesis statement. That's the key to great writing on the IELTS and in university. Okay? All right, so positive plus negative, meaning more products plus environmental damage. So that's our first paragraph. Okay, start thinking about your topic sentences, students. All right, and body paragraph 2 will be also about the positive and negatives of economic growth, meaning buying power and people's health. And yes, students, you do need to express this level of thinking, logic, and English for those truly high band scores, because an IELTS Band 9 description means an expert user of the English language. It's not just an expert in vocabulary and grammar, but also in thinking as well. Okay? Gurkharat, the original question says, do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? And here we've already stated in our thesis in the introduction that the deficits of this growth outweigh the benefits. So that's my argument here. So my argument is no, the advantages of economic growth do not outweigh. Okay. So body paragraph 2, positive and negative buying power and people's health. Okay, so let's go back to body 1. And let's write our topic sentence. The topic sentence should be a deeper definition of our first point, which is bringing more choices for products. So giving details for that, plus, of course, Earth's environment. Okay? I think you can write a very good topic sentence with this, going into greater detail. I'm going to do the same, and then we'll compare. Okay? All right, that is my topic sentence. Okay, thank you, Yuru, for confirming that. Gurkharad says, it is true that increase in purchasing power benefits countries. A person, Gurkharad, you're jumping to body paragraph 2. Buying power, we're leaving for body paragraph 2. Okay, so think about more services and products instead, Gurkharad, for body paragraph 1. For Dobbs says, the economic boom over the last 3 decades has brought an enormous supply of products and damages the environment more than ever before. For Dobbs, you're on the right track. Try not to repeat words. We already have economic boom in the introduction. It is good that you're practicing using it. And again, one more time for Dobbs, here's the correction. The economic boom over the last 3 decades has brought enormous supply of products as well as damage to the environment. That's better paralleled grammar. Okay. Rahul says economic development offers more product options and services. Okay, let me try that one more time, Rahul, with a little correction, okay? Economic development offers more product and service options than ever before at the cost of Earth's environment. Okay, Rahul, that's good. Just a little bit focus on grammar and word order. You have a little bit of word order mistake there. Okay, Rahul K says, economic growth and development brings more products. That means more choices for people in general. This also means that the more supply of products with the same level of consumption results in an increase of waste, okay, or byproducts, Rahul. Rahul, try to simplify it. You're using a lot of words to explain this idea. I think you can do it simpler. Always avoid wordiness, okay? Avoid wordiness in your writing. So don't use more words than necessary. Instead, use good, detailed information. Preeti says, products of a huge number of items has caused, a large production of items has caused environmental damage as a result of economic development. Preeti, there's a bit of grammatical word choice mistakes there. I get your idea. Just careful not to overstep your ability using those words, all right? Yuru says, with economic advancements bringing a wider choice of goods and services for individuals, it has overstretched the Earth's finite resources at the same time. Yes, Yuru. Another way to say at the same time with a specific vocabulary, Yuru, is simultaneously. Okay, so here's another way, Yuru. With economic advancement bringing a wider choice of goods and services for individuals, Earth's finite resources have been simultaneously overstretched. That would be the way to do it better, Yuru. Hi, Roshni. Hi, Amarjeet. Roshni says, in the 21st century, most countries have high taxes, which means greater products and services that leads to the extraction of resources. I think you're jumping in late, Roshni, but you're close. It's not about taxes here. It's about economic development. Amarjeet says, economic growth has brought a lot of opportunities for work and makes life more convenient at the cost of destroying nature. That would be the end of your statement, Amarjeet. Okay, good. So let's explain that. Okay, so what do we mean? What do we mean economic development puts a greater variety of products and services on the market, which in turn increases extraction of Earth's natural resources? So what are we saying by that? Can you explain it? Okay, I see, Amarjeet, that you have an ending there. All right, so next point, okay. And I know that some students in their IELTS classes, they learn just supporting point 1, supporting point 2, supporting point 3, but it's better to think about the body paragraph as topic sentence, explanation, example. It's much more cohesive and detailed than thinking simply about these as just supporting point 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so let's explain this. I'm going to do the same. So okay, so there is my explanation of what I mean about more products and services leading to putting pressure on Earth's natural resources. So here's my detailed explanation. So again, to get this detailed explanation, what do you think I'm using? So what strategy am I using to come up with this idea? As companies compete to win the favor of customers, they mine increasing amounts of oil, metal, gas, and other materials to fill the shelves of stores with many products. This increase supply and demand leads to an alarming rise in air, water, and soil pollution. What do you think I'm using to come up with that explanation? How am I able to do that so fast? And I promise you, students, I'm working on this essay with you in real time. I do not plan it before the class. I do not script it. I'm working with you in real time, exactly the same as you are. The only advantage that I have compared to you is that I've used English all my life. Other than that, our thinking is the same. So I have the same thinking platform, let's say, that you have. So what am I using to come up with this specific idea for this topic sentence? What do you think? What's my strategy? I've taught it before, and that's why I'm asking. What do you think the strategy is that I'm using to come up with this level of detail? It's not rocket science, I'll tell you that. Okay. Gurkarat says you're doing planning. Yeah, well, definitely at the beginning when I'm going through this. But Yuru, you're right. I'm visualizing. Yeah, I'm visualizing. I'm imagining what I'm talking about. So my topic sentence is very abstract. It's not really in the physical world. So variety of products, services, increased extraction on Earth's natural resources. So what does that actually mean? I have to see it. Okay, so I visualize it. You're right, Yuru. So I close my eyes and I see pictures of economic growth and development. One picture that comes to mind for me are automobiles, so vehicles. If we think about cars, cars are a crazy example of economic growth and development. Just look at the streets. Look at how many kinds of cars there are. Look at how many companies are competing for people to buy their cars. And what are we doing? We're building bigger cars, more metal, using more oil, one person driving a 1-ton vehicle. Imagine a car lot with all those hundreds of shiny cars, okay? So that's what I'm picturing. Now, when I have that picture in my mind of economic growth, the car lot full of the cars for sale, Toyota, Honda, Mazda, Mercedes, BMW, and so on, then I realize what's going on. Companies are competing to win the favor of the customer. Hey, buy a Mazda. No, no, no. Hey, buy a Mercedes. No, no, no. Hey, buy a BMW. Buy a SUV. All right? And so then I just need to put that into words, okay? What is that using? Oil, metal, gas, other materials to fill the shelves with stores, okay? So visualizing is a very powerful tool for effective writing. Okay? Now, of course, I can take it one step further. What are these cars doing? They're polluting the earth. Of course they are. They're burning fuel, they're rusting, they're going into wreckage yards, and they're creating air, water, and soil pollution. Okay, so I just need to put that into words, all right? And now comes my example. And of course, for my example, I can now use that visualization even further, talking specifically about cars. But before I go there, I want to read some of your explanations, and I see that Ferdovs has some explanation coming up. So Ferdovs says, advancements in technology has increased the amount of production of goods, and it leads to a demand on natural minerals, thereby damaging the earth. Ferdovs, you can connect that by saying thereby damaging the earth, okay? Now, Ferdovs, it's not bad, okay? It's pretty good. You're on the right track. It's a little bit repetitive of the topic sentence, so you want to go into more visual details, okay? Hung says, while investors are trying to get more profits for their stockholders, more goods are produced all over the world. It is not only making unnecessary products, but simultaneously increasing pollution. Hung, that's very good. Just one very important tip, Hung. Don't jump to future tense or use the future participle will in the essay. Try to avoid that. So try to keep your argument general and present tense. Okay? There are some less common situations in task 2 where you have to use will, but in most situations, students use the word will inappropriately in task 2. You want to make sure that your tense, it's called tense agreement, is present tense. Most academic essays are written in present tense to show that the argument is true now and for always or forever. Okay, so one more time, Hung. While investors are trying to get more profits for their stockholders, more goods are produced all over the world. It is not only making unnecessary products, but simultaneously increasing pollution. Okay? All right, Preeti says, as the demand for products increases, factories manufacture a variety of goods, such as plastic items, cars, bikes, which lead to carbon emission on Earth, damaging the ozone layer and decreasing the quality of air, or decreasing air quality. Preeti, that's good. I added a little bit more. Rahul K says the growth of economic development has not been in pace with the increase of renewable resources. Very nice, Rahul. Most products come as a result of the depletion of Earth's resources. Rahul, brilliantly put, not just because of your English, but actually your thinking is profound when you have that explanation. And that will push you to a band 9. So Rahul, that piece of writing is a band 9 piece of writing. Okay? Whether on the IELTS or in first, second year college or university. All right? Good job. Good job, Rahul, okay? Gurkrat says, economic development transparently results in remarkable incline in Siavak in market. Not sure what that word means, Siavak, but that prides us with multifarious drawbacks. Multifarious is an awkward word in that context, such as contamination of natural resources by carbon emissions. Emission of fumes is awkward. Fumes are emissions, Gurkrat. Okay. Preeti, aftermath is one word. Okay. Otherwise, it looks kind of funny as aftermath, like after math class. All right. Good job, students. So far, so good. So now I'm going to write my example. You do the same. Okay. And keep writing. I'll keep checking on what you're doing. All right. Okay, so I maybe went a little bit overboard there, but that's my example. So again, a clear representation of this is the automotive industry, which over the past half century has decimated oil resources and put holes in the ozone layer, competing to sell bigger, faster, and stronger vehicles, whether a Ford, Mercedes, or BMW. In this rapidly, I can even make it a little bit fancier, in this rapidly developing global economy. All right. Okay. Rahul K says, for example, the sales of cars, motorbikes, and other vehicles are at a lifetime high. People now use less means of public transport in their day-to-day life, and this has increased the level of air pollution. Yeah, Rahul, very good. So you're kind of going along the same lines as me. Very good. Roshni says, for example, more and more fuels are extracted from the earth for individual consumption, and also purchasing of tons of fuel from other countries to have better services and economic growth. All right, Roshni, I see where you're going. There's a little bit of confusion there in what you're actually saying, so you might want to rethink that a bit, but you're on the right track. You're on the right track. Gurkraj says, examples could be seen in less developed nations, such as in Pakistan, where 1 million people die every year due to air pollution by recycling of plastic and e-waste, hence economic growth. All right, Gurkrat, I see where you're going with it. It's okay. You'd have to explain that a little bit clearer. Okay. Ferdov says, for example, China has not only produced more than half of the products in the world, but also damaged air pollution and environment, which leads to global warming. Ferdov's, very good example. Yeah, China is unfortunately an extremely good example of production and pollution. They are now dealing with that. And you can even be more specific for Dobbs. You could say, for example, China has not only produced more than half of the products in the world, but has also damaged the air to the extent where certain cities like Shanghai are extremely difficult to breathe and live in. Okay, so you could even go to that level for Dobbs, where you could say Shanghai is now a city which has become difficult to live in and breathe the air. Okay, you're right for Dobbs, and that's due to that massive production as a result of economic development. Okay, now remember, students, this is task 2, 250 words minimum. Band 9 essays, closer to 300, 320 words. If you get to 350, it's still okay if you're looking for those high band scores like 8 and 9. So, but don't overdo it, so don't go overboard, all right? Remember, you have to try to do this within 40 minutes. If you can't, no problem. Just shorten up the information, okay? If you write an essay like this at home and you realize, this essay took me like 55 minutes and it's 400 words, okay? So, my task 2 practice at home took me 58 minutes and I wrote 390 words. Okay, or, I'll be even a little bit more subtle. Let's say 350 words, okay? Put an exclamation mark there. So, my task 2 practice at home took me 58 minutes and I wrote 350 words. Yikes! What do? I can't do that on the IELTS. I only have 40 minutes and I have to write at least 250. I know that. So what should I do? Okay, this is what you should practice at home. So if you're going overboard and you're taking too much time and you're writing too many words, don't panic. Go back and shorten your essay. See or evaluate which parts of the essay are less necessary and take them out. Then, in the official exam, remember to do this and not go overboard. Okay, now task 2 is worth 66% of your total mark. Keep that in mind, students, okay? All right. So don't panic. At home, you should practice writing complete essays. If it's too short, like you've finished your essay in 30 minutes and you have just 220 words, then the opposite students. Then you need to think of, oh, where am I not giving enough information? Where should I state more information? Okay, no worries, Danish, you're here now. All right, now I can do a connecting or concluding sentence. What would be a good concluding sentence here? Okay, so what would be a nice, effective way to conclude this paragraph? Let me read the paragraph for you and then think about it. So economic development clearly puts a greater variety of products and services on the market, which in turn increases the extraction of Earth's natural resources. As companies compete to win the favor of customers, they mine increasing amounts of oil, metal, gas, and other materials to fill the shelves of stores with many products. This increased supply and demand leads to an alarming rise in air, water, and soil pollution. A clear representation of this is the automotive industry, which over the past half century has decimated oil resources and put holes in the ozone layer, competing to sell bigger, faster, and stronger vehicles, whether a Ford, Mercedes, or BMW, in this rapidly developing global economy. Okay, so what would be a good connecting or concluding sentence? While you write that down, I'll read some other students' examples. So Rahul says, recently a report on BBC shows that nuclear explosions not only killed thousands of marine animals, but also polluted the air by expelling harmful gases. Rahul, I think that's a bad example. Weapons testing is, yes, it's somewhat related to economic development, but I think it's an awkward example. I think there are much better examples because military consumption of weapons testing and development, it's too far. It's too far, Rahul. It's off mark. Okay. Hung says, for instance, there's a lot of one-time use chopsticks in China. It makes more than 10 tons of garbage per day, which means the more chopsticks made, the more forests that disappeared. Jeez, really, Hung? 10 tons of trees every day disappeared to be thrown away as chopsticks? That's scary. Yikes. It's a good example, Hung. Those are the good examples that make your reader go, ooh, get a real emotional reaction. That's kind of sad. And then that's just China. People in many other countries eat with disposable chopsticks also. How many trees die to be just thrown away after eating one meal? It's terrible. Or bamboo anyway, or some tree. Yeah, it's terrible. All right, Preeti says, for instance, the automobile industry is the main cause of carbon footprint, which is the reason for Earth's temperature rising and may even lead to the demise of humanity. Ooh, Preeti, good example there. Amarjeet says, for instance, in New Delhi, the capital of India, there is mostly pollution resulting from wasting of goods and vehicle carbon emissions. Amarjeet, good. You don't need to explain the capital of India. Most people will know that. So you can just say, for instance, in New Delhi. Okay. Again, don't be too wordy. Okay, Rahul K says, so more buying power doesn't always mean quality of products. It can also harm society than providing choices. So Rahul, yeah, you're on the right track. That's definitely the right idea for the conclusion, or the concluding sentence, I should say. Okay. Euro, clearly the booming economy takes a toll on the environment, but people themselves are also inescapable victims. Okay, that's your connecting, concluding sentence. Yeah, that works, Yuru. So you're taking the information from the body paragraph, from the first body paragraph, summarizing it, and then you're leading into the second one. Sure, okay. concluding, connecting sentence. Yeah, absolutely. So not only is economic development bad for the environment, but also the individual. Okay, good. And then we go right into body paragraph 2 with the topic sentence. So yes, Yuru, you're right. So summarize the idea of body paragraph 1 and then introduce the idea of body paragraph 2. So not only is economic development bad for the environment, but also the individual. Okay? And then we can go right into body paragraph 2. Body paragraph 2 can be, while people in growing economies, while citizens, let's say, of fast developing economies can afford to buy more products and services than ever before, this is coming at the cost of health in many instances. Okay. And then comes the explanation. All right. And stay with me here, members. So you can write the topic sentence. You can move smoothly to the explanation as well. You know what you're doing now. I want to show you how fluently this can all work when you have good planning and you know what you're doing. Okay. Yuru, it's possible. I mean, there's, quite a few members, quite a few people. If I don't catch it, don't worry about it. Members, don't worry if I don't catch your all of your writing, okay? I'll try to balance it among you, all right? A lot more focused than when everybody's chatting, that's for sure. All right, so here's my explanation. So since humans are often greedy by nature, they tend to overconsume when given the opportunity. Okay, so that's my explanation. Since humans are often greedy, not only greedy, but gluttonous. Anybody know what gluttonous means? What is a glutton? Anybody know that? The meaning of that word? In strong economies, okay, so now comes my explanation or my example. People will, or people do, remember, don't use will, okay? In strong economies, people buy 3 cars even when they are not needed, as well as vehicles that are much larger than necessary. These SUVs consume much more gas and lead to less physical movement or exercise, therefore increasing the overall weight of the owner and decreasing their health. Okay, so I'm getting a little bit fancy here. I could have maybe gone with eating too much food, like 2 large pizzas each day, but I'm trying to make a connection between my example for body paragraph 1 and my example for body paragraph 2. Okay. Okay, Ferdov says, nowadays in developing countries, in developed countries, Ferdovs. So nowadays in developed countries, individuals have greater wealth, but it is at the cost of their health. Okay, and then Kurkarat says, for example, in Canada, every household has 2 to 3 cars. In reality, people only need 1. Yeah, gluttonous means we consume a lot. So we're eating, consuming without end. Okay? All right. So then after this comes the conclusion. And now I just need to conclude my ideas. I'm not going to do a concluding or connecting sentence for body paragraph 2, simply because it's unnecessary when the conclusion is here coming. So the conclusion has 3 parts. It has the points restated, it has my argument strengthened, and a take-home message. Okay, so here we go with the conclusion. In conclusion, while many people may think that, no, sorry, that's my argument. I'm going to go back here. In conclusion, damage to the environment and health are 2 major side effects of having more products and buying power. Therefore, while many people may think that the benefits with advantages of economic development outweigh the disadvantages, I strongly disagree. Okay, and then I have to think of my take-home message. In this case, my take-home message will be, humans must think of the impacts of economic development, not just in the short term, but also in the long run. Okay, so that is my conclusion. All right, I know I was a little bit quick there, members, near the end, but I think you have the right idea. And of course, feel free to rewrite this essay on your own. Again, if for an extra challenge, you could try this essay with the opposite argument that economic growth and development is advantageous when compared to the disadvantages. So that's another way that you could attempt this essay. And of course, if you do that, if you rewrite this essay in your own words, and you want to get a score estimate, so how well you did, just send it to my email here at adrian@aehelp.com. Now, when you're finished your essay, students, you should always reread it at least 1 or 2 times. Look for mistakes, corrections, so proofread your work. So here we go. Read the question first. Economic growth and development are usually considered to be beneficial both for individuals and for society as a whole. Do the advantages of economic development outweigh the disadvantages? Okay. And then we have our introduction. Okay, we've already read that a couple times, so I'm going to skip over that all the way to the thesis. Although economic progress brings more choices for products and increases buying power, I believe that the deficits of this growth outweigh the benefits, since it has detrimental impact on the environment and people's health. Economic development clearly puts a greater variety of products and services on the market, which in turn increases the extraction of Earth's natural resources. As companies compete to win the favor of customers, they mine increasing amounts of oil, metal, and gas and other materials to fill the shelves of stores with many products. This increased supply and demand leads to an alarming rise in air, water, and soil pollution. A clear representation of this is the automotive industry, which over the past half century has decimated oil resources and put holes in the ozone layer, competing to sell bigger, faster, and stronger vehicles, whether a Ford, Mercedes, or BMW, in this rapidly developing global economy. Not only is economic development bad for the environment, but also the individual. While citizens of fast developing economies can afford to buy more products and services than ever before, this coming at the cost of health in many instances. Since humans are more often greedy and gluttonous by nature, they tend to overconsume when given the opportunity. In strong economies, people buy 3 cars even when they are not needed, as well as vehicles that are much larger than necessary. These SUVs consume much more gas and lead to less physical exercise, therefore increasing the overall weight of the owner and decreasing their health. In conclusion, damage to the environment and health are 2 major side effects of having more products and buying power. Therefore, while many people may think that the advantages of economic development outweigh the disadvantages, I strongly disagree. Humans must think of the impacts of economic development not just in the short term, but also in the long run. Whew, all right, so that is the full Task 2 essay. Now, I would definitely correct some parts of this essay. I would take some parts out, make it a little bit shorter. I'll do that later today, and I'll put the final version of this Task 2 response up on the community board for tomorrow. Thank you so much, members, for participating, for sharing your thoughts and your answers. Again, if I didn't get to all of your comments, don't worry about it. Send me your essay to my email, and I'll let you know how you did. If I have some time, I'll even give you a bit of feedback. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. In 30 minutes, we will have a listening section example and practice, especially for section 3 and 4. You're very welcome, Hung. You're very welcome, Gurkarat, Roshni. Next lesson, Roshni, in 30 minutes, listening. Danish, Rahul shared the link for the community board a little bit earlier in the chat, so check that out. Bye for now, students. Hopefully, I will see you soon. Again, remember to join us on our websites to get the best help to improve IELTS band scores. aehelp.com for academic and gieltshelp.com for general. Much love to all of you. Bye for now.